a sad but sort of exciting last week. We came through the Panama Canal and with some of our Patreons on board, and they were acting as our line handlers, and we had a really great time with them.
So this is probably the final shot before our trip to Galapagos and then French Polynesia.
As deep as the sea, no matter how rough things may come to be, you and me, we're family.
We just anchored off sort of off the causeway on the way to Flamenco Marina, and got a beautiful sight of or a beautiful view of Panama City, but it's not the most attractive of anchors. There's lots of fishing boats and very smaller boats seem to be getting renovated. There's lots of banging and noise, a lot of pollution in the water as well. I mean, it's not the type of place you can swim in really, but there is kind of a really handy dinghy dock with a security guard there, which I've never seen before, and it's free, which is amazing for Panama. And from there you can get a taxi into town and do all your provisioning, and the taxi's anywhere between $5 and $10 depending on the taxi driver, but I've heard Ubers are cheaper and better. We've done some shopping, so we provisioned up hopefully for the next few months, because the Galapagos are very expensive and it's not easy to get hold of stuff.
Like you probably realise, I don't really have a spreadsheet, which a lot of people do, and that's a very good thing to do, but I just can't make sense of spreadsheets, so it's all in my head, and I just stock up the boat as much as I can and to last as long as we can really. So it's always way beyond a 4-week passage. It's always enough to probably, half this stuff will probably get us all the way to New Zealand, and I just don't want to be shopping on the way in these little islands. So we pretty much got as much as we can right now. We might get some more in the next few days, and yeah, now we're just celebrating with a Panamanian beer.
We also had to try the Panamanian shaved ice drink known as raspado.
I got strawberry.
Just so we don't forget this, how many people and how much shopping can you fit in a dinghy?
The kids have been to a museum, Smithsonian Institute, to learn a bit about the wildlife.
Okay, this morning we are visiting the Smithsonian Institute. It's called Punta Culebra. So yeah, it says here that you find extraordinary marine and terrestrial environments in Panama, and also we're going to learn about the amazing discoveries of scientists at the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute. Exciting. Yeah, so that lady at the cash desk was really interested in what we're all doing, you know, where we're all from, and you know, and I explained that we're all living on a boat and we're sailing around the world, and she's always she's interested in how we do our schooling, and yeah, we do quite a lot from books, but places like this to visit, and this is like an excellent field trip. I mean, this beats any books really, so it's perfect. Here we go.
Croc.
Really?
Another one.
Where?
A croc.
A big one?
A croc. On the beach. A croc.
Oh.
It's a blue one. It's a blue one.
A blue one.
It's the left one.
Is it dangerous?
Well, depends on what diseases the person had. If they had, you know, tinea, yeah, it could be dangerous.
So these islands, Naus, Perico and Flamenco, were islands, but now they're connected to the mainland by a causeway that was built out of the rocks from the Panama Canal. Interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
No, raccoons are like this big. Yeah, no, raccoons are bigger.
Oh, it's got a stripy tail though. So we've learnt a lot about leafcutter ants in the last few months, but here, I didn't realise this, scientists working here have discovered that they actually secrete an antibiotic from the glands, and they use that to protect the fungus gardens from another fungus that can infect and destroy them.
So when they eat something, instead of putting that, like taking the food inside them, they actually put their stomach out and enclose the thing they're eating and digest it and eat it.
This is the trading routes of boats, and they tracked 12 whales, which are these squiggly lines. They could change the shipping routes, like the trading routes, so that it wouldn't hit the whales, because obviously whales breathe on the surface, and when they sleep they come to the surface. So when they realised where the whales would like converge, like around here, they brought in like speed restrictions, I guess, so that boats wouldn't like ram into them, or I guess the whales would also have a bit of a warning.
The more our kids know about the natural world, we hope will enable them to look after it.
Yeah, this building here is all about amphibians and frogs in particular. Okay, so now we're in the amphibian section. We've got the harlequin frog, which is the most poisonous in Panama, but we've got some tree frogs that are not poisonous at all. And we've also got a family of the red frog, which we know from Bocas, but that's here too. Yeah, what we learned in here basically is that a lot of the frogs are getting wiped out and becoming extinct because of this disease called the chytrid disease, which likes certain kind of warm temperatures, but not too hot because that kills it off, but it kills the frogs off as well. If it's too cold, it can't survive. But in the environment that you get the frogs, this chytrid disease can survive, and it's like a fungus, and it takes over the frogs and grows in their skin and basically kills them off. Once they've got it really bad, you can't really rescue them. So that's a bit concerning. Apparently frogs, salamanders and amphibians are facing mass extinction, more than for even birds or mammals. So they've got all these projects that are trying to breed the golden frog, for example, which is nearly going extinct, it's endangered, and they're trying to breed frogs like that, and then they're going to reintroduce them back into the wild and see if they can, reintroduce the species. So it's quite interesting.
Okay, it's checkout day in Panama. You come to, if you have Eric as your canal agent, you just come to the flamenco lobby, and his secretary goes up to immigration and sorts it out. There's a bit of a complication ours because we overstayed our 90-day visa, which we knew would happen because you can't extend your visa in the country. You have to either leave the country or pay the fine, and for us it's easier to just pay the fine rather than try and get our boat out of the country and back again, or us. So it should be $50 for adults per person. So I'm going to have to go to the other immigration office now and pay that, and then we'll be able to check out, come back here and check out. Okay, so we've been dropped off by the secretary in this building, and now we're going to find floor 3 and pay a fine. Simple as that.
Okay, yeah, so this is the office. It's a bit random. It's like a 3rd floor of this weird building, and this office is a bit dingy, but this is where they take the money for the people that overstayed their visa.
The reason why we overstayed our visa was because our lithium battery install took longer than expected.
Okay, so that was the final part of that mission. We've now checked out of Panama. This is the last immigration we had to go to. They're never really very nice, about it, and you kind of think we're only tourists, we're not criminals, and it just seems a shame you can't just extend your visa if you're passing through, but that's the way it is here anyway. And we follow the rules in each country, and every rule is different, and the rule here is that you get 90 days, and after that you pay $50 a month. So complete. Back to the boat now.
Finally leaving the coast of Panama. We're going to be on some islands for a day or two while we scrub down the boat and just finish off a few things, but we've checked out. We watched some spectacular lightning storms over Panama City, which is a bit worrying because I know that there's a few storms on the way on the passage between here and the Galapagos. So now we're heading off to Flamenco Marina to fuel up and water up. We're filling with fuel, but we're a bit confused because the fuel dock seems to be on an outer floaty pontoon, which is not normal.
I think it's for bigger boats. I think I remember them saying something like that.
Oh. So we're heading off to Pearl Islands to spend a few days. Ewan tested positive for COVID. I mean, he had a few mild symptoms, so we thought we'd test him anyway, and sure enough, it came up positive.
So yeah, Ewan had a really bad day. He was high temperature, didn't feel a bit sick. We kept him on the boat, and then we did a test at the end of the day, and he was positive. Yeah, I mean, it's a faint line, but it's a positive. Any faint lines also show that he's got COVID.
I got COVID.
So we decided to do the test for all of us.
Final test is Woody, which we think is going to be positive because he's got symptoms.
The rest of us were all negative.
How's Ewan doing now?
I think I should start photographing.
So Ewan hasn't been very well because he had COVID. That lasted one day, didn't it?
Don't touch me, I have COVID.
And how are you feeling now?
I don't know, I'm just fine now.
You look fine, don't you? Eating, noodles, drinking. So yeah, good job it didn't last too long.
But does that mean I don't have COVID anymore?
We'll have to do a test, but I think the worst of it's over. Took one day and he sort of bounced back, which is good. I mean, he has been vaccinated, so I think that might help.
I'll be immune. Because there's these type of cells in your body that when you get attacked by a virus or whatever, they memorize how to like destroy it, or like find out how to stop the virus. And then when it comes back, then they know how to do it, and then it's gone. So basically, after this, I'm immune to COVID-19.
But I can kind of see in his eyes that his body's been fighting it, and it's good to see him on the mend.
I mean, we're all vaxxed anyway, so we passed all the requirements for the Galapagos. We've also got to clean the bottom of the boat and do a few minor repairs, but I think we're just about the end of our jobs list now. Quarantine for a little bit while Ewan hopefully tests negative for COVID, and then we'll head off again.
How's it going, Derry? He's hungry. Okay, so we finally left the anchorage, La Brisa, which isn't the nicest of anchorage, but it's good to get things done. Oh, actually, sorry, the kids loved it. It was just a bit, but it was all right. Yeah, it's who's there, not what it's like, really. Did do a lot of mall shopping. I've been in more malls than I've done in my whole life. But yeah, we're off now. It's nice. We're actually sailing. We've got to try and save our fuel now because we need it all to get to Galapagos. So this is like just one massive car park for tankers. So we just got to kind of wind our way through it. But literally, it's just full of tankers here, waiting to go through the canal or waiting to offload goods or just being through the canal. It's just waiting place for tankers. You would not want to be hit by that, would you?
Just passing through the traffic separation scheme, which is leading in or out of the Panama Canal. It's very, very busy, so bringing all of our collision avoidance skills into play, and there's a squall off our port side as well. So even though it's a relatively straightforward journey, there's a lot happening.
The other thing about going to Galapagos is you need to have a really clean boat. I mean, it's generally clean anyway, but we have to get right in the bilges because we don't know how much they're going to inspect. Like, they might inspect all our bilges and see if they can find any little things. And you always got little mites and stuff in your bilges, but so we've had to get. I mean, I've got all the food out in all these bilges. There's quite a lot of tins, and just cleaning in every single one really, and all the spares, and had to get it all out and clean it. And yeah, since we left Panama, Ewan wasn't feeling too well, but he tested positive, and then the rest of us were testing negative. But then I just was really unwell yesterday, and I had terrible temperature and fever, and I feel a bit better today. But it's the worst time because I kind of got well, it's never a good time, but you know, I'm supposed to be cleaning this boat up, so I've kind of taken a few ibuprofen and I'm sort of getting on with it really.
To get into the Galapagos, you get an inspection, a hull inspection, and they check for any sort of growth of barnacles. So we've just stopped in Las Perlas, and I've just been down there cleaning it all off. I mean, we have been cleaning it fairly regularly, maybe once a month, but the build-up is quite a lot. You and me were cleaning the hull this morning.
So my dad just has cleaned the hull. I cleaned a bit, but now I'm just jumping in. I just love it here. It's like so beautiful, and like the white sandy beaches with the crystal clear water, and also this beach is, yeah, it's nice, but it's like mosquito ridden. So yeah, that isn't the best part of it.
There was a massive stingray that parked itself just under the keel, just where I wanted to be, so it was a bit awkward because I didn't want to startle it, but obviously the hull needed cleaning, and the keel especially needed cleaning. So we've got some more hull cleaning to do this morning. I got most of it off yesterday. I spent about an hour getting the worst off, but there's still a few patches that need sorting out, but because we've been a bit ill, it's been kind of fits and starts really, trying to get the boat sorted out. But while I'm feeling less groggy, I'm going to get down there, do some cleaning.
Mum's too ill to do any of the scrubbing, so I decided to take up that job.
So we got rid of all the barnacles and all of the bits and pieces, so it's taken about an hour to clean it down, so I hope it's good enough. Anyway, it'll have to be because we've run out of air now. So we're just leaving this beautiful anchorage. Actually, now the sun's come out, you can really appreciate how beautiful it really is. You know, it's like clear water and golden sand. Where are we off now?
We're going to Isla Pedro Gonzalez.
Isla de Pedro Gonzalez, just south a bit more.
12 miles.
About 12 miles. It's got a marina and a few shops, so hopefully we'll be able to do some final stock up, a few fresh veg, so offload some trash, and hopefully get a bit of Wi-Fi so we can get a weather update, and then hopefully get over this coldy flu thing that we've all got.
We don't really want to leave and start doing night watches when we're all feeling pretty ill, or any of us really, especially me and Woody, because we do the main share of the watches, so you kind of need to be like top form when you're heading on an ocean passage, because you don't sleep. Well, you sleep when you can, so you have to work out the system where you're on a few hours and off a few hours. So yeah, it's quite hard.
Oh, sleep's interrupted anyway with this kind of thing that we've got, and with night watches that's just going to exacerbate the whole thing. And if we do end up doing a 10-day passage, which is likely in the light winds all the way to Galapagos, then we're going to be absolutely knackered by the end of it.
We're going to this random town to see if we can get any fruit and veg. The reason why we need fruit and veg more is because I just feel so ill that all I want to eat is fruit and veg, so we just need more of it to keep us going for the next 7 to 14-day passage to the Galapagos. And meanwhile we're fumigating the boat, so we've got to get off the boat.
One of the requirements for entering the Galapagos is to have a certificate of fumigation.
We're in this random place called Pedro Gonzalez Islands. We came here to get some more fruit and internet, but the town is just falling apart, and but people just carry on with their lives. And then there's a tiny little shop with a few little things. We bought basically all her yogurts and all her tomatoes and a melon and a papaya. We didn't get the pineapple because it looks a bit rotten. We just noticed this woman's cutting up this iguana, so we're going to go and have a look. The lady didn't want us to video her, but it was pretty disgusting. She was like ripping out its insides and made me feel quite sick.
a bit disgusting. She was just like, no video, and then she was acting all casual, just like, and then suddenly she just ripped out like a handful of guts. Like with fishing, it's maybe just like that much, but she literally had like ripped out loads of guts. Yeah, it's just too disgusting.
That just made me feel really sick, seeing that. I just feel worse than I was before, actually.
We're heading off, and next time we live anywhere in significance, it should be the Galapagos Islands.
We would like to say a massive thank you to our patrons for supporting these videos and this epic journey.
Things may come to be, you and me, we're family. Sing ho, hey, along for the ride. Ho, hey, I'll stay by your side.
Don't forget to subscribe and check out our channel dedicated to fixing your boat called Mothership Maintenance.